Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest. I am your host, Midnight Sun, and today, after being declared an honorary Zora, Harvey is going to go into Jabu-Jabu's belly and rescue Princess Ruto, as well as nab ourselves the final spiritual stone. Before we do that though, we are going to have to do a little bit of prep work. Probably should have done this last time, but, well, I forgot. I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet there. I forgot to do this. So, what do we need to do? Well, we need to grab a fish. You might wonder why. And actually, a lot of people will be wondering what if they go just straight up to Jabu-Jabu. Because it's not exactly obvious what you have to do. I think there's a Zora somewhere in the domain who tells you the entire process, but you need to get a fish in order for Jabu-Jabu to open up his big mouth. There are two ways to do it. There's the way that I just did it. You kind of just, swing around your bottle in the water there for a few seconds, and eventually, a little fishy swims in there and says, feed me, feed me. Of course, we're not really going to feed it. We're going to feed it to something else. Or you could go into the Zora store, which unfortunately has a knack for selling things which are much less rare than they make it out to be. They say, oh, it's a delicious fish. Well, we get a fish that's just as delicious right next to your store for free. There's one other thing in there, which we will be obtaining later, but first, we need to get to that point. In order to do that, we're going to have to get through Jabu-Jabu. Literally, through him. So we come into the unusually large area of Zora's fountain. Of course, I say unusually large because it just kind of looks like it's big. If you only go to the places you need to go to here, then it's always going to just be that. It's going to look like it's big, when actually, that's not the case. But, we can't get inside of Jabu-Jabu by swinging our sword at him, because he's apparently made out of concrete. So let's put this fish down and let it do its work. He gives us a blink, then he does, oh god, that. I always hated that animation. Fortunately, the one thing that the Zora will not tell you is that Jabu-Jabu doesn't just eat his fish. He sucks in the fish and everything else around it, including Harvey. So, that's how we get inside Jabu-Jabu's belly, as it were. Now, those of you who have read all 2 glorious pages of the thread will remember that at first there were some people who were mentioning, something inside of this place. Some specific switches. Now, something that Master Quest usually does, like in every single place that you go to, there are going to be some unusual switches, ones that you wouldn't really expect to work that way. Jabu-Jabu's belly is the one that just kind of puts in the most random stuff. In this case, it's cow heads in the walls. Or rather, entire cows. Sometimes it's really just their heads sticking out of the wall. Other times, well, we'll see that in a few seconds. The normal switches in Jabu-Jabu's belly were already a little bit bizarre. You're inside of something that's flesh. They're not just going to give you a switch that's made out of, stone. They have to make it made out of flesh. So we have these pulsing, weird, fleshy buttons on the floor. Those of you who came into here the first time, just like me, expecting to find regular buttons just after you saw one underneath a rock, would have been sorely mistaken. In fact, I walked out and into this place about 15 times thinking I had done something wrong. I kept on killing enemies in different orders. All to try and get this door here open. Yeah, the doors in Jabu-Jabu's belly are just as odd as the switches. They're kind of like fleshy flaps with fat over them. It kind of looks like fat cells anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that you need to destroy the fat cells in order to open up the doors. But after my 15 minutes of walking around, I discovered this. If you hit the cows with a slingshot bullet, something happens. It was one of the most hilarious moments of my life. When I finally did that, I smartened up, and I was like, oh, that actually works. I want to shake the hand of the man who decided that. Anyways, we get ourselves a Deku Nut. A Deku Nut, apparently. Not Deku Nuts. Weird. Anyways, Deku Nuts are actually a very useful item in this place, for more than just the usual reasons. I mean, usually when you have your Deku Nuts, you use them because they stun just about everything. Well, they do stun things in here. They also auto-kill things, a couple of things in here. Well, one thing. They auto-kill something else in here. And they make these jellyfish, like the one that just zapped me there, they make them hittable with your sword. As you saw, they do electric stuff whenever they hit you. You can't really remedy that by hitting them with a metal stick. It just shocks you. But if you stun them first, you're able to kill them with your sword rather easily. Let's see what's inside this thing here. Unfortunately, it is not a heart. Jabu-Jabu's belly is the dungeon where I take the most amount of damage. Okay, we got ourselves a box over there. Spoiler alert, it is the compass. So let's just hop over there and get it because we need to go into that area anyway. But yeah, Jabu-Jabu's belly is this strange place where as soon as I walk in here, the usual skill that I have at Zelda games just kind of disappears. You know, it just, for some reason, it just goes off there in the air. I take the most amount of damage here, and I make the most amount of stupid mistakes. I'm not quite sure exactly why. I mean, with the jellyfish, it's a little bit understandable. They're kind of like silent killers. They sneak up on you real slowly in the corner of your screen where you can't see them, and all of a sudden, boom, they're on you. But, you know, I make some pretty stupid mistakes, too, like walking into walls and, you know, getting hit by simpler enemies. I just, you know, I become a complete idiot when I come in here. More so than I usually am. So let's continue making our way through here. Now, I couldn't just walk to this side. Let's hit our cow, by the way. Produces a chest that we are not actually able to get to yet. But there are those weird, like, waggling red things that we can't get past yet. We will eventually be able to, though. Before we talk with this character here, by the way, I want you to note there was nobody there before. But now there is. It's a young Zora. I wonder who it could be. Oh, well, that was quick. At least she's quicker at introducing herself than another princess that we met. Rude, rude, rude. Anyway, she is explaining to us that she is indeed Princess Ruto, but she did not send this apparent letter in a bottle. By the way, I'm sorry to anybody who is, you know, reading this for the first time and really wants to get a view of what she's saying. I was talking with a friend while I was playing this dungeon, so I kind of, you know, I lingered on some things too fast, and I went, you know, too fast on others. Oh, I hear a cow. There must be a switch somewhere around here. And I saw Navi go green and go somewhere else, so let's combine the two things that I am worst at. Jabu-Jabu's belly and bombs. Because apparently there is a switch, but it is behind these rocks, which have been awkwardly placed high on a wall. And yeah, I saw the cow head flapping around there. I probably did not need to throw that bomb. I probably could have hit the switch by now. Probably. But I decided to get them all, which, you know, just means that I get hurt more. A door opens up that we can't get to yet, so let's follow Princess Ruto down this weird fleshy hole. Now, I personally believe that Princess Ruto is the second most annoying character in the game. She does, however, show off something that we don't see anywhere else, pretty much. I can't remember any other time that we see it. You'll notice that sometimes her words appear really, really fast in the speech bubbles. That is her expressing, you know, she's trying to get through it fast. She's impatient, that's what it is. She's impatient, and she's trying to, you know, basically snub any ideas that you might have, any way that you're trying to help her. She's trying to nip it in the bud, and just kind of, you know, say, get away from me, I can do this myself. Of course, she might be able to get out by herself, maybe, I don't know. But we actually are not able to get through this place unless we have Ruto around. Jabu-Jabu's belly is, certainly the most, you know, complex dungeon up to this point. However, it is also the one that acts the most like a JRPG. What I mean by that is that it is the one that drives you in a single direction. So really, unless you just decide to completely ignore where the game is obviously pointing you, you are not, you know, going to mess this place up. Maybe there are a few things that are out of the ordinary, especially in the Master Quest version, but you know, it's not all that difficult when it comes down to it. It's just weird. It's odd, and that's what makes it more difficult, so to speak. However, to increase the difficulty, the game originally had us dragging around Ruto there. She's basically a companion cube, shaped like a Zora. You can use her to hold down, you know, blocks. You can also throw her at enemies. She's a very useful weapon. You'll see in the normal mode video that I put up, which is going to be going up after this one, for reasons that I will explain. You know, she's a very useful weapon. Especially against those bubble things, which you can automatically kill with the Deku Nut, or you could throw Ruto at them. Ooh, it could even hit multiple ones. Even though the Deku Nuts do basically destroy an entire area's worth of them. Like I said, more Deku Nuts. We're also going to be having our first encounter with a classic Zelda enemy. One that you'll see in about 80% of Zelda games, actually. It's in a good amount of them. And it doesn't do the, you know, the thing that it does in this game all the time. I was just kind of looking at that pillar of water to see if there was a gold Skulltula up there. It doesn't do the thing that it does in this game all the time. However, it does basically look the same. This is a like-like. Like-likes are gelatinous blobs that like to eat people. Like-like, you know? They like to eat people. Whatever. Unfortunately, even though that scritchy, scratchy noise of the gold Skulltula is, you know, kind of tantalizing and a little bit annoying, the fact that I can't get to it right now, I am, in fact, not able to get to it right now. I'm missing an item and something that we use with that item. So once I have that, I'll be able to pick up the gold Skulltula. One thing we are able to do, however, we kill a couple of those stingers. The enemies which you either have to hit with a Deku Nut or step over for them to pop up into the air. Once they're in the air, you can hit them with just some fairy slingshot bullets, and they're dead. Anyways, we kill those guys and we go up here. We'll be able to get the third large box. We've already gotten ourselves a dungeon map and a compass, so there's only one more thing this possibly could be. Our dungeon item, the boomerang. The boomerang is an item that appears in most Zelda games. In fact, I'm having a hard time thinking of a game where it does not appear. I think every single Zelda game that I personally have played, I haven't played all of them just yet, but I have played most of them. The boomerang appears in all of them. It's a pretty OP weapon. The reason being, not because it kills a lot of things and, you know, just like a couple of hits, like something that would take 3 hits with your sword or 2 jump attacks or something is down with 1 hit of the boomerang, like wow, like that. It's because it stuns most everything that it does not kill. And especially in games where you can switch weapons a bit faster than this one, like say Wind Waker, that makes it a really potent weapon, a really potent tool for just, you know, cleaning out enemies. You know, it's like, oh, okay, stun, stun, stun. You know, you can just keep on tossing that thing. There's almost no period of time in which you actually have to keep it in your hand in Wind Waker, and it just makes most enemies extremely easy to beat, even the ones that would usually be a little bit more iffy. There is one more thing, however, that it does only in Jabu-Jabu's belly. These red waggly things I was talking about, it stuns them, just like it does enemies. When they're stunned, they turn basically into blocks. You're not able to move them around like you would a normal block. However, that doesn't stop it from being something you can climb over, and it stops it from being an impediment, which is extremely useful because, well, we don't really want them to be in our way. The game is driving us in a specific direction, and we are not going to refuse its call. There is, however, one thing here. Usually, you know, you have the Nexus where you can head off in multiple directions. I think I mentioned that before. But this is the one area where you can kind of just kind of go off on your own and see what's happening. And even then, there's a little bit of direction. This is just the most straightforward dungeon. I can't believe I have so much trouble with it. I'm really embarrassed right now. Anyways, so what we need to do in this area, maybe you've noticed, there are these strange pillars that are undulating. We need to get rid of those because they're in our way in a few places. So, oh wait. I hear something besides cows. I hear gooiness. Oh, yep, a like-like. Let's show off what like-likes do, actually. I let myself get eaten here. They only deal a half heart of damage to you. But what they do that is most dangerous is that they steal special items from off your person, including shields and something else. We'll be seeing those a little bit later. But there's another thing that they can steal from you. If you defeat them quickly, however, which is not at all difficult, you get your item back. So fortunately, this is another Deku shield that is not going to die just yet. We'll re-equip it, which is actually kind of a bad idea because there are 2 Lakes in here. And unless you've forgotten from my multiple reminders, I am a complete doofus in this place. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, there are those undulating pillars, and we need to get rid of them in order to advance further on in this dungeon. So, you know, we gotta get rid of them somehow, right? I'm basically just repeating myself, right? So, you know, we'll find our way in here of how we do that. There are 3 paths, and there are also 3 colors of pillars, I might add. So, that should give you a hint of what we're going to do. We're going to defeat specific enemies that control those pillars. There, I gave it away, because I had nothing else to say. Well, actually, there is one more thing to say. Maybe you noticed that when I jump attacked that one you know, just a few seconds ago, it, you know, it didn't actually take any damage. I bounced off of it, and that is how I got eaten up. Like mouths, like the area around that hole that they suck you into, is basically made out of pure Jabu-Jabu hide. You are not able to get through it. Your best bet is to stun the like, and then jump attack them. You know, stunning an enemy will make it 1,000 times easier to beat. Then again, this game isn't exactly about the enemies. It's more about, you know, it's more about the puzzles that are in it. So here we go. We have the first of Jabu-Jabu's hanging dildo collection. It's the blue one. It's pretty easy to defeat. You just kind of, you know, you throw your boomerang at it. It hits a weak point. And every time that boomerang comes back into your hand, just throw it again. Just get right underneath it, don't be afraid, and just toss that boomerang. Now, if they do hit you, they'll send you flying across the room. And then you kind of have to reset your position. So, you know, just chain throw it. It might miss, and that can be annoying, but then again, we're not working on a 100% success rate for anything in this game. So, there you go. Realism in video games, ooh! Anyways. Got a couple of rocks here, making sure I don't hurt myself this time. And I decided to step on the pressure-sensitive switch, even though I knew that it wasn't going to stay open, so there you go. Just more examples of how I screw myself over in Jabu-Jabu's belly. Alright, we got ourselves a box, though, and for some reason, boxes are considered to be about the same weight as one Harvey. So we're going to like, create a scale. So 1 Harvey is equal to 1 box or 1 Ruto. That is our conversion. We have our second hanging dildo here. I was actually talking with one of my friends, like, I've actually lost 2 really good recordings. One of them, well, it was actually really stupid. I was basically just talking to him, and nobody else could hear him but me, so you were kind of hearing half a conversation. He was talking about how, you know, I've basically got some Freudian issues because I was talking about dildos inside of Jabu-Jabu. Well, I don't know. I've never been able... Ever since, you know, I've been about 14 years old, I've never been able to see those things as anything but gigantic hanging phallic symbols. So maybe there is something wrong with me. Go ahead, psychoanalyze me. I'm not afraid of you. Alright, that was something else anyway. Alright. So now we got ourselves another room here. There isn't anything specifically important. Like if you're trying to, you know, speed run through this place, you can just ignore this room. You can, if you accidentally step in it, you're like, oh shoot, you just wasted a few seconds. And a few seconds can mean everything if you're trying to get a world record. Like I stupidly try to do sometimes. It never works. But you may have noticed that there was a scritchy, scritchy, scritchy sound, like a gold Skulltula. And when we blew up that one rock, a Skulltula died. Now you might think, oh, well, I guess since there wasn't any token, there was actually no gold Skulltula. Well, I'm looking up there, and I'm seeing a boulder. If I get close enough, I hear a scritchy, scritchy sound. That other gold Skull... not gold Skulltula. I guess it was a Skullwaltula. That Skullwaltula was actually a dud. The game pretty much puts it there because it's like, well, they're going to hear the Skulltula sound, and they're going to think, oh, maybe there's a gold Skulltula in this room. If they kill the one that's easy to get to, maybe they'll forget about the one that is actually in the room. Or at least they won't look for it, because they'll think that they've solved that problem. And you kind of do need to be, you know, nearer to that, that boulder to hear the gold skull behind it. So I guess it's a clever trick. You know, they're trying, okay? It's Nintendo. They're trying to be original. It doesn't really work out all that well. Well, it usually does. Well, I'm just kidding. It usually doesn't. They keep on re-releasing games, whatever. But, you know, it fooled me enough the first time I came in here. I knew that there were something like 5 gold Skulltulas in this place, and I could not find that last one. So, there you go. Alright, we got ourselves the final hanging phallic symbol. Let's take it out. All of them turn red in the end. So I guess that just proves the point that, you know, we're all pink on the inside. Whatever. Alright, now that we have made it out of those rooms... By the way, you may have noticed that the walls are kind of going in a direction. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, but yes, they are moving you slightly when you're in those places, so keep that in mind. If you're getting a little bit confused, like, am I moving? What's going on? Yes, you are moving. Don't worry. And we got ourselves a Ruto again, so... We don't need to deal with her as much, because usually we would be carrying her around, but we do have to deal with her pretty much just enough, I'd say. I head into this room just to show it's in here, even though I know it's pointless to get in here. You know, there's a gold Skulltula, but he's behind a wall of web right there that unfortunately we are not able to get through right now. And at first I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I need X item, which we are going to be getting in the next collection video. And I haven't quite obtained it by the time that I did this. I should have. I really should have. There's a point in this dungeon that we're eventually going to get to where I really should have gotten that item. But, of course, like I said, I'm kind of stupid. And I was tired when I was recording this, so I didn't think to go and do that first. Anyways, right now that room is completely useless to us. We cannot get anything from inside of it. So we just exit and come out here. Let's go back up to Ruto and see what she has to say about us leaving her behind. So, yeah, you see she has her fast talking going on again. Let's grab her and head through. There used to be a green undulating pillar up here, but now there isn't, because we killed them. We killed the pillars. We're slowly but surely making Jabu-Jabu better again. Now, if we hit these cows, awkwardly hanging out of the wall, a couple of boxes appear. I guess maybe what happened, if we're going to try and give this a rational explanation, was Ganondorf was kind of going around, and he was walking around, and he realized that there are all these cows just kind of hanging out underground in certain parts of the world. And there are. And he was like, oh, well, shoot, I'm going to go and curse a fish today. What should I do? Derp, 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 derp. Oh, I see all these cows. I guess I'll just kind of toss them in there. And I suppose that all of these bad things that are happening inside of Jabu-Jabu are because he ate raw meat. The raw meat is now sticking to the inside of his, to the walls of his various organs. I'm not quite sure how the biology of Jabu-Jabu works, but now there are cows in it. So, that screws it up even more. I'm pretty sure that this area here might be the heart. Not entirely sure, though. Whatever, maybe at some point I'll go and I'll create a chart of all the rooms and I'll try and decide which ones are which. Anyway, Ruto is very excited because we have finally made it to the room that she was trying to get to. It's the one which contains her spiritual stone. Of course, it's not going to be her spiritual stone for much longer if we have anything to say about it. This is also one of the only times, I think it actually is the only time in the game when you see somebody else doing the whole, I got something, here it is hanging over my head animation. Or pose, I should say. Like, we see it maybe a couple other times with other characters, but they aren't actually holding something up when they do that. Anyway, she's relieved that she has her prized possession, and we're relieved that we don't need to deal with her anymore. So let's just go ahead and get out of here. Okay, never mind. We are not going to get out of here that fast. It seems that there is an octopus up there. Well, if she means an Octorok, we've dealt with plenty of Octoroks in the past. What's another? Okay, a large Octorok. Okay, this enemy here is probably my least favorite in the entire game. Now, I know that I have a specific hate for Keese, but at least Keese don't do to the game what this thing does. You kind of have to be lucky with him. Or you need to be extremely unlucky for it not to work, depending on how you look at it. Or how, you know, your experience has gone with this game. Because he basically, you know, just kind of runs around and you have to run around in a circle. You have to try and catch up with him before he catches up with you. Which means you need to go close into this rotating pillar, which has all the spikes on it. If you get too close, as I'm about to demonstrate, he disappears and reappears on the other side, and then you have to restart the entire thing over again. One thing that can go wrong is this. You might notice that it's taking Navi a little bit of time and effort to finally lock on to him. And, you know, you get pretty close before she actually does it. It can occur that Navi will take so much time to lock onto him that you'll be too close and he'll disappear. Like, you know, in my Ocarina of Time run, which I was doing a recording of it before I did this one, and I just kind of, you know, gave up on it for a little while because, you know, I was taking a lot of damage, and I was also getting far too close. Navi refused to lock on to this guy. For about 15 minutes, I was in this fight. You know, this only took me, what, a minute, 2 minutes, and I purposely messed it up one time? But yeah, for 15 minutes in the normal Ocarina of Time version, I was running around. I was doing everything I usually was doing, but Navi was not locking on to the bastard. That's what can go wrong in this particular, in that room there. So a fight that would usually take only, you know, a couple of minutes at max can take a long time. And then you can completely fail at it too, you know, like I did. This hallway here seemed a bit too calm for me, and I was right. If you go around, eventually you'll see a couple of these dudes here. They're just big, you know, jellyfish. If you kill them with a jump attack, once they're, you know, stunned, pretty much, they won't do anything special. They'll just die. However, if you kill them a slower way, they will split into 3 jellyfish. So be careful with the way you kill them. The way that did not open up the door, so there had to be a cow on a wall. There had to be. It's like a law. A Jabu-Jabu law. Whatever. Anyways, one of the final rooms in this dungeon. It's also the one that is definitely the strangest. So we hear our cow, and, well, there's our cow switch. We don't see what it does just yet, but it did do something, trust me. First of all, though, I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. I did mean to get hit by, you know, a couple of things in this place. But that I did not mean to get hit by. But it also shows off the fact that, yes, it does come back to life after a few seconds. So you do need to, you know, do your business on top of it rather fast. The reason this room is odd is because there's a cow right here. And this cow is not a switch. It's just a cow. If you play Epona's song for it, it will give you milk. It's just a normal cow. It is bizarre. It is the strangest thing in this dungeon because it is not strange at all. I love it. I love the fact that it's there. It just reminds you of the fact that cows are not meant to be switches. They're meant for milk. Anyway, we see that we have a blue switch over here. And what that cow on the wall there did is it made these, it made a couple of crates appear. It was also a good example of how Master Quest sometimes sticks a texture or an object somewhere where it's not meant to be. You know, a little stone slab appear. Where the boxes were, and that's what the boxes appeared on. So that's odd. That's odd. It's just, for some reason, they didn't always go with things that matched. Or they could have just had those crates appear, and that would have been odd enough, but no. Oh, okay, likes. Yes, this room has 2 likes. That's not difficult. It's just a little bit annoying because while one of them is being trounced, you have to worry about the other one sneaking up behind you and sucking you in. But if you're smart about it, you don't need to worry about that either. Just circle around to view a like in such a way that either this one here, it got caught behind a corner. It couldn't even come any closer. So you can do that, or you can just position yourself so you can always see the other like as it approaches. Now, I mentioned that there's an item that I probably should have gotten before I came here. Specifically for the purpose of collecting gold Skulltula tokens. This is another case where I should have had that item. I'm not going to make you suffer through it, but for about the next 4 minutes, I am going to try and get that Skulltula in a way that it was never supposed to be obtained. So basically, I'm just going to be tossing my boomerang at it, completely failing. I can't get the angle right. I can't get it through that web, of course. So I just need to plug at this for a few minutes and be just stupid. I thought that maybe if I hit this cow it would help, but it didn't. Then I thought maybe I could shoot it from below, but it's also protected down there. No go. Finally, through some miracle of mathematics and trigonometry and boomerang throwing, I found just the right way to throw this thing that would actually kill the Skulltula. And of course, it's maddening that I had to do all that, because when you actually throw it like I did there, and you have a target, it, you know, it curves around in such a nice little way that would have been so cool to do beforehand. I'm not sure if that was designed or if it was a mistake, but it sure is annoying. Anyways, definitely one of the more interesting cow switches. As you hit it, it climbs up the wall until eventually it gets to just the right place. I'm not going to open this chest here, though. I'm really angry at that other cow that it didn't help me with that Skulltula. Welcome to the boss room. It is dark, as the bowels of a beast should be. However, at least it has a reason for being lit up. There is an electrical beast in here. A dangerous electrical beast. Possibly one of the deadliest bosses in this entire game. The bioelectric anemone, Baronade. Rawr. Although actually I'm not kidding. This boss, who is made of electricity and like gigantic arteries, actually is one of the most deadly bosses in the entire game. If it did a bit more damage, like if it did half a heart of damage with each hit, I could easily see it being a later game kind of boss. However, it does not. The reason why I say it's kind of dangerous is because it's most especially dangerous during this phase here, when the jellyfish out there are kind of swinging around and they're not exactly evenly spaced. Or they are, but they're, you know, kind of, they're, what's the word? I can't think of it anyway. They're kind of spaced oddly. So you can't exactly stand in one place and expect to stagger. They're staggered so that you can't just stand in one place while they're all there and expect not to be hit. And then of course there's this phase where, you know, the only time that he really shows any true opening is when he stops to spin the other way for some reason. I don't understand why. Of course I'm taking a gigantic amount of damage, so he must be doing something. In fact, I'm taking enough damage that at this point, if you were doing half a heart of damage, I would be pretty close to dead. The good thing is, for people who do take plenty of damage in this fight, that the game gives you a lot of jars to work with. Considering it's the final boss of this particular stage of the game, though, I definitely think it is a fitting way of doing it. Anyway, now it is going to spin around, and instead of trying to hit us with jellyfish, because it's out, it decides to attack us with its own electrical stalks. That's the only thing I can really explain those things as being. They're stalks. And yes, as I just demonstrated, you cannot block them with a shield. However, it's not entirely difficult. You know, you just slash them. It's not entirely difficult unless you're me. You know, you just kind of hit him with your sword, and you know, hit him with your boomerang right beforehand, and you'll have no problem whatsoever. You know, except for the fact that he's constantly attacking you. You beat him up though, and then he explodes. After which, naturally, he explodes again. And congratulations, you have defeated the first part of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest. Good job, Harvey. You're a hero. And, you know, I'm gonna do a little something here that's always annoyed my little sister every time that we would play this game together. I basically would do this for about 15 minutes, paying homage to the heart container, so if you're watching, that's for you. All the times. In Majora's Mask, I would take out that dancing mask, the Kamijiro mask, and I would dance in front of a heart container, so that annoyed her even more. Anyways, speaking of annoying, now we have to talk with a very, very exasperated-looking Ruto. I'm not looking forward to this. Then again, it doesn't really look like she's looking forward to this either. She doesn't need us after all. She was only just a little bit lonely. Gosh, I can see through your facade like I can see through a window. You are a window, and I can see into your heart. Not that I really need to have that kind of insight. After all, you're about to make it very clear that we're not exactly an object of hatred in your mind. Ruto completely ignores our personal space and swims very close to us, with a very disconcerting look in her eye. And she's calling us cool. Now, it's one thing to call a person cool when you're, you know, Hylian or human, or maybe even Goron. But Ruto's a fish. So when she's saying cool, she actually means that we're hot, because fish are cold-blooded. And we very rudely and, you know, forthcomingly explain that, yes, we do want her spiritual stone. We do want her most prized possession that she got sucked into an infected god's belly to get. And she's perfectly cool with it. She's like, okay, I'll give it to you. Why not? You know, she's a lot more, she's definitely a lot more giving of her Zora's engagement ring to somebody who she thinks as, quote, cool, end quote. Frozen in place in the water, we have finally obtained the final spiritual stone, Zora's Sapphire. It is quite shiny. Quite shiny. Just like everything else in this game. So we have ourselves the spiritual stone of the forest, the spiritual stone of fire, and the spiritual stone of water. Of course, Navi is quick to explain that we're a stupid kid who doesn't understand feelings and values, because we've lived with the Kokiri our entire life. But yes, we should go back and see Princess Zelda. I don't know why I lingered on this screen for so long, but I did. Maybe I just wanted to stare at it because it's so shiny. Anyway, she tells us not to inform her father of the things that she has done. And that's the end of that. So, recap. What did we do today? We went down the gaping gullet of a ghastly god. We carried around a princess a little bit, though less than we would have in the original game. And we rudely asked for her most prized possession, and she reminded us that it is an engagement ring, so Harvey's kind of locked down his future at this point. Next time on Legend of Zelda Master Quest, what's happening at the castle? We haven't been there for a while. I'll see you then.